I think you'll hear a lot tonight about, records, a legislative record, and I do not at this time have a legislative record, but I have a proven track record as a public servant. I am 46 years old. I have been in the district for 23 years. I have worked for President Bill Clinton for 8 years, Mayor Tony Williams for 8 years, 6 in neighborhood services, 2 at the DC Sports and Entertainment Commission, and I worked for Mayor Fenty as his Director of Neighborhood Services, and last I worked for him as the Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation. I have a long-standing history and involvement with the Latino community. I'll start back when I worked in neighborhood services. I worked very closely with the Ward 1 service coordinator, Jeffrey Reyes. We worked on housing issues over at Hyatt Place on Ontario, dealing with slumlords and working on issues that were just poor housing conditions for tenants as well. Unity Park is something that I began to work with as a neighborhood director of neighborhood services. It's where we were working on a Columbia Road park where Latinos wanted to hold a food court and a bazaar. And it was an initiative that I started at Neighborhood Services, and then when I became Director of Parks and Recreation, I initiated the Memorandum of Understanding, and we executed that, and that venue is still operating today.
Thank you very much for the candidate. Great Clark. Is that correct? Clark. Candidate Clark.
There you go.
Now, allow me to introduce Council Member Phil Mendelson. You have 3 minutes to share with us why this community will support you.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. It's good to be back before you. I was here a couple of months ago for your monthly meeting to talk about issues that were of concern to the Latino Caucus. Again, I'm Phil Mendelson, and I'm here to ask for your support in the September 14th election. Elections, in my view, are about applying for a job or reapplying for a job. And I think there's a value to experience, because you can judge me not based on what I say, but on what I have done. And I think that's far more valuable than just relying on what somebody says.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it. There you go. There's 2 great candidates here. We have 2 questions. We're going to entertain 2 questions tonight. Who goes first? Going once. Okay. Number 1, number 2. And then you have a minute to answer the questions, correct?
My question is, right now we have a lot of students in charter schools that are going to school in office buildings and warehouses that were converted. And we have closed DCPS school buildings that are being turned into offices. So I want to know if both of you would support ensuring that the government is going to give priority to students to use those schools for school buildings before they're offered to any government agency to be an office or for economic development.
Well, you know my record on that, because I've worked closely with Focus, Friends of Choice in Urban Schools, Focus, on benefiting the charter schools. And I think it is outrageous what the government has done for the last, 6 or 7 years with regard to taking public schools when they are closed or empty and providing them a last choice, if you will, to the charter schools, to public charter schools, and that's not right. And we've changed the law to try to make it clearer that the public charter schools are a first choice for the use of these buildings, and that's where I am. I support that fully.
I think that's something that the council member and I both agree on. I mean, I have an undergraduate and a graduate degree in education, so I support education reform, and I think when the buildings, when school buildings are closed, that the first choice should be to those public charter schools. I think you need to put the needs of the students first, so I would have no problem supporting it.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to find out, or you can reiterate, why is it that you support secure communities, or why would you support secure communities? And the second part of the question would be, how do you feel about treatment facilities, investing in treatment facilities for capacity building due to their solid track record, and what is your view on how you would assist if possible?
Well, I think that you're going to find that every elected official, and even those of us who are trying to become elected will tell you that we do not support the Secure Communities program. I mean, I am a former reserve police officer with the District of Columbia. I served about 4 years, and I worked for the 3rd District for about a year, and then 3 years I worked with the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender liaison unit.
Thank you for the question. I already spoke at some length with regard to secure communities. But let me say a little bit more, and let me be clear, I do not support the Secure Communities initiative. And I'm having another hearing to give the community an opportunity to again explain to government officials what their concerns are. And I spoke to what some of those concerns are. The fact that victims are afraid to come forward because they're afraid that they or their partner will somehow get caught up in this Secure Communities initiative.
Thank you very much. Let's give it up for the test. Now we're going to finish up. We're going to finish up very quickly with the final remarks. And candidate Frank Garcia, please.
All right, once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and to have this time to address the caucus. But, you know, I want to go back to where, you know, the incumbent said, you know, it's rhetoric versus, you know, a proven record. I gave you some hands-on experience that I have in working hands-on with the Latino community. And here you have a gentleman who had the opportunity to confirm a Latina to run a city agency, and he voted no. He voted no on her, and he did not even give her the courtesy of a meeting. That's rhetoric. That's not rhetoric. That's a fact. It's an important night. Unfortunately, time would not allow me. I want you to know that Clark is and always will be a friend of our community. Clark had the courage to stand with me when others would not. That is why I'm proud to stand with him in his race for council. This election will be about choices. My friends, please give Clark the consideration that I was not afforded. Hamena Hartsa. So I'm telling you right now, let's not talk about rhetoric. I'll put my involvement in this community on the line with that. Thank you very much. I need your support September 14th. Thank you.
Well, I have to say that's quite something, and I hadn't heard that before.